We know the reality. We are facing an opioid and heroin crisis in the United States of America and here in the state of Illinois, and we are not doing enough. Sadly, we are losing lives every day across this state and across this nation, and we need to do more, and we need to do it now. I have traveled from one end of the state to the other, finding the reality of addiction, the reality of opioids, the reality of heroin overdoses. And I can just tell you, no one is safe. You are not living in a safe place. Don't believe that this is somebody else's problem. There is no town too small and no suburb too wealthy to be spared. Look at the numbers. In Illinois, we suffered from 1,652 overdose deaths in 2014, and the numbers have gone up. Nearly 30% increase in 2014 over 2010, and the numbers continue to go up. We know the celebrated cases, Prince, others, but every single day, another fatality, another threat. I go to communities large and small, and they are stunned by the reality. Why, those two teenagers were the most popular kids in high school, and they're dead. This is no longer an inner-city minority problem. It is a problem that affects everyone, black, white, and brown, everywhere. And the obvious question is, what will we do about it? Next week, I'm going to introduce a bill in Washington to try to move this conversation to a new level, strengthening the Food and Drug Administration's oversight of new opioids, putting pressure on the Drug Enforcement Agency to limit the volume of pills. This has to be said. There are people who are suffering from chronic and acute pain. I get it. I've had that in my family. They need painkillers, and I want them to have access to them. But in the name of taking care of that medical responsibility, we should not ignore the irresponsibility that's going on with the prescription of these opioids and other painkillers. We need to require that certain medical professionals who prescribe long-term use of painkillers are required to receive appropriate training and education. We also need to remove the unintended financial incentives to prescribe painkillers, examine new options for non-opioid treatment of pain, ensure that drug manufacturers are responsible stewards of their products by having them establish, in addition to good standards, drug disposal programs. When my wife pulled that bottle of painkillers out of our medicine chest and said, "This was from your knee surgery 5 years ago, and there are 40 of them left. What are we supposed to do with them?" Well, Walgreens has programs. Some police departments have programs. I think the pharmaceutical industry ought to have a responsibility to make sure there's an easy access to responsible disposal.